My name is Christina Popescu, and I'm currently a lecturer and a researcher at Bielefeld University in Germany. And I have some previous experience in inclusive education, as I worked for reports and other projects with the European Union for Inclusive Education and Special Needs and with UNESCO. And I was also involved in several research projects around technologies that accompany education in mainstream schools for children with disabilities. If we think about a question such as what true inclusion in education means, I think we should need yes, a form of pluralistic thinking, because inclusion is not a standard recipe. It's a method, I would say, and that is applied according to a specific environment, a specific configuration, and according to the participants. So yeah, I would say. And of course, it is something that is also linked to what a state or a school environment has to offer to their learners. About the role of AI in supporting learners in general and learners with lower motivation. I think we are somehow at the beginning of an adventure, because since 2022 everyone is seeing the advancement of artificial intelligence, generative and artificial intelligence more precisely. And there are a lot of questions, about personalization of learning, about how we can make the educational experience better for people. We've seen some nice experiments on, for instance, on how we can use what is called a universal design for learning in education, practice that can be accompanied through AI tools. We've seen teachers who sometimes ask their AI assistants how they could improve their practice in the classroom, so how they could help their diverse learners to better achieve their learning objectives. So I think we have an open field in front of us, and the technology is important, so those who develop it are important, and their ideas, their values, but also the pedagogical work behind it. So everyone and the collaboration of everyone is important here. So if we think about what educational institutions do in terms of implementing technologies, we can say they are doing good things and they are doing bad things. But I think the most important thing is that, and this appears at all levels of education, from primary to secondary to upper education. What happens is that we have the impression that technology will solve everything. We give the technology and we let it with the users without any kind of additional support. And without any kind of research process. And I would say that the most important part is to provide support, technical, but also pedagogical support, and to kind of develop a group inquiry into what the technology can do. For people who are involved in developing EdTech solutions, I think it's important to keep in mind an accessibility and an inclusivity dimension when developing that product, that service, etc. But there are some, standard recommendations. Today you will have a lot of guidelines, let's say, in terms of accessibility for different types of needs. This is something you will find easily, let's say, if you are somebody, of a developer, somebody involved in the sector. Perhaps the most important part would be to assure a form of pluralism of use, not have just one standard line to follow, but keep in mind that people who use a product or service, they are different. And also the situations, the context in which a solution is used, they are diverse. Because the biggest problem appears when we kind of force people to fit into a pattern, If we think about one skill that would be or a set of skills that would be necessary for the future, there is an old debate in education about how we prepare children or learners for future. I'd say that future is already there, so what is important is to pay attention to our daily interaction and what we are already doing. So this is how we are already starting to prepare for what comes, and not just to have in mind and imagine it out there.